Guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I'd like to share a fun Halloween read aloud with you of the story The Littlest Pumpkin. The story The Littlest Pumpkin was written in 2024 by Brandi Dougherty and was illustrated by Denise Hughes, and it tells the story of the littlest pumpkin in the patch. If you're ready to hear the story, I'm ready to share it with you. Here we go. The Littlest Pumpkin. Petey was a pumpkin. He lived with his family in the spooky woods pumpkin patch. There were many pumpkins in Petey's patch. There's Petey with his family, and there's many pumpkins in the patch, but Petey was the littlest one. So if you've ever been to a pumpkin patch, you know that there are lots of pumpkins and they come in all shapes and sizes. It was almost Halloween and Petey's seeds swirled with excitement. This year, he was finally big enough to participate in the pumpkin decorating contest at the Halloween Bash. Petey just knew he would be chosen for the contest. After all, his great-grandma Squash once won the spookiest award 3 years in a row. So at the spooky farm, there's a Halloween bash and they do pumpkin decorating. And Petey is finally old enough and he knows that he's got a good shot because he comes from a long line of good squash. Petey's mom helped him polish up his skin until he was bright orange and super shiny. Petey's sister Portia made his stem look just right. "Oh, you're so cute," she gushed. Petey frowned. He didn't want to look cute. He wanted to look big and spooky. So Petey's mom and sister are helping him get ready for his first pumpkin decorating contest. And they think he's cute. And he is, but he wants to be spooky. Soon families from all over the spooky woods came to the pumpkin patch. Some found their special pumpkin right away. Others took their time examining lots of different pumpkins. Portia was one of the right-away pumpkins. "See you at the party," she called. So we can see all kinds of people are out to get their pumpkins. And Petey's sister was one of the first ones picked. Petey put on his best "pick me" smile when 2 monsters wandered over. "What about this one?" one monster said, pointing to Petey. Petey held his breath. The other monster shook his head. "Too little." So he got excited. Someone thought maybe he was the right one. Look how excited he is. And then the other monster said, "He's too small." Later that day, Petey practiced some spooky boos with his dad. "A little louder," his dad coached. "Boo!" Petey shouted. "Bless you," a vampire responded, thinking Petey had sneezed. Before he could try "boo" again, the vampire picked up his dad. "This one's perfectly spooky." "See you soon, son," his dad said with a chuckle. So Petey's trying to be tough and he's booing at people. And the vampire thought he sneezed, but then he took Petey's dad. And Petey's dad said, "I'll see you at the party." The next morning, Petey heard an ogre looking for a bumpy pumpkin. Petey quickly rolled through some leaves, hoping to appear bigger and bumpier. but instead, he got lost in the pile. Next, Petey used a wheelbarrow to hop up onto a fence post. Up here I'll be noticed for sure, he thought. Look at that pumpkin, Gran, a werepup barked. That's too little, Wendell, his Gran replied, steering him in the other direction. So he heard an ogre wanted a bumpy pumpkin, but he ended up getting lost. And he used a wheelbarrow to get high, but when someone noticed him, they said he was too small and went in another direction. The crowds came and went, but Petey stayed. There's always next year, Petey's mom reassured him. Just then, a ghost picked her up. Look at this big one, the ghost said to her family as they drifted away. See you tonight, love, Petey's mom shouted down to him. And don't worry. So Petey's mom is telling him that maybe he'll get picked next year. And then just as she says that, she gets picked by some ghosts. If you hear that, my cat has just joined us. It's okay, Teensy Pants. Listen to the story. Petey slowly rolled through the pumpkin patch. A tear splashed in the dirt in front of him. Everyone wanted a different type of pumpkin. Nobody wanted the littlest one. Just then, Petey heard two girls talking. He stopped and watched. He stopped and watched a witch and a mummy stroll his way. They were little, just like Petey. So Petey's starting to feel like nobody wants him, and he's sad and he's crying. And then he notices a little witch and a little mummy and their little cat and a mummy dog. And he said, they're little like me. And he starts being a little hopeful. May, look at that pumpkin, the witch said to her friend. This one, Wilma? The mummy asked, gently picking up Petey. He didn't try to make himself look spooky or bumpy or big. He just smiled. He's perfect, Wilma and May said together. The girls took Petey home and decorated his skin with special glowing paint. He loved the spooky design. We're ready for the pumpkin contest, they cheered. So Petey didn't try to be anything but himself. And the little witch and the little mummy said he's perfect. And they took him home and they painted him with spooky paint. And he loved it. And they thought he was perfect. Petey, Wilma, and May were the first ones at the party. Petey beamed as his family arrived one by one. There was just one problem. Why aren't you decorated, Portia? Petey asked his sister. I'm too scared to be in the pumpkin contest, she told Petey. What if no one likes me? Petey looked at Wilma and May and smiled. He had an idea. So after all that, Petey was the first one to arrive, and he was happy to see all his family arrive right after him. And then he saw his sister, and she wasn't decorated. And he said, why aren't you decorated? She said, I'm too scared. But Petey had an idea. Excuse me. With Wilma and May's help, Petey got to work decorating Portia with glowing paint just like his. When they made it back to their table, the contest had begun. Petey balanced on Portia's head to complete their design. The judges loved the double painted pumpkins, one big and one little. They gave the new friends a ribbon for best team effort. So he was painted like a skeleton skull, and he painted his sister like the skeleton's body. And they won for best teamwork. Petey had a blast at the Halloween bash. He got to watch Wilma in a high-flying broom routine and May in a fun mummy dance, and they ate enough treats to last them all the way till next year. It was fun to feel a little spooky sometimes, but Petey was happiest being himself, and that little idea was the biggest joy of all. The end. So you can see Petey wearing his ribbon and watching May and Wilma broom ride and dance, and he's happiest when he's just himself. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you enjoyed the story of the Littlest Pumpkin. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you're not a subscriber yet, click that subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. And don't forget to click the bell so that you're notified when there's new content. I hope to see you all real soon. Just be yourself. Bye-bye.